Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ifoma. So today we're going to be making this beautiful fleece gown that has a net design on the center. Okay, so as you can see, it's very big on me. This is because it's not mine. The person that has it is bigger than me. I just want to show you all how it looks like on a human body. Alright, so if you're interested in this tutorial, make sure you watch till the end, and if you're yet to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button and also give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive into the video. So to begin, these are all the measurements you're going to be using for this project. So depending on the size you're working with, you need at least 6 yards of any fabric you're going to be using. So this is an African fabric, as you all see. Now this, what I have here is 6 yards. Now you need net. All right, you need net, a large amount of net. What I have here is 5 yards of net, but you know we are going to be cutting the net in a gather form, so you need a large quantity of net. Okay, I have 5 yards of net here and I have 6 yards of our fabric. So these are all the measurements we'll be using for this project. We have the full length from the shoulder to the ground. What we have is 60 inches for the full length. Now they have the net. Out of that 60 inches, we are going to be adding a 10 inches net. Okay, so we are going to be minusing 10 inches from this full length that we have here. And that 10 inches, we're going to be replacing it with a net. Okay, and then inside that 60 inches as well, we're going to be having 10 inches gather for the down part. Okay, so we are going to minus 60 inches, we're going to minus 10 inches, which is 20 inches from this 60 inches, which is going to give us the down length of 40. So we are going to cut the upper one before the net to be 40 inches long, then 10 inches net, and then 10 inches gather, making the total sum of 60 inches for the full length of the gown. Now the shoulder we're supposed to be using is 16 inches, but because you know this is a sleeveless, it's always advisable, it's best practice to minus some inches from the shoulder when you're working on a sleeveless, unless the client tells you that they like their shoulder fully covered. Okay, so I'm going to be using 14 inches. Now to explain it even better, this is a paper that I cut out. Now from here to here is going to be the 40 inches. So we are going to have our 40 inches from the shoulder to here. Now this is going to be our net. Okay, from here now we are going to have our 10 inches net. Okay, so after the net we are going to now have our gather, which is still going to be 10 inches. Okay, so the process we are going to use to cut this is we are going to cut our fabric 50 inches, that is 40, which is from here to here, plus 10 inches net, which is going to give us 50 inches. Okay, we are going to cut our fabric from shoulder to 50 inches. Then after cutting, we are going to cut at 10 inches from that part. Okay, we are going to cut out 10 inches, and we are going to use that 10 inches to cut out our net. All right, I hope you understand this. I'm going to repeat this. We are going to be cutting our fabric to be 50 inches, which we already know that our fabric is supposed to be 40 inches before the net. Okay, but we're going to cut it 50 inches. Then this is just the best way we can get this accurately. If not, you can use your paper, and using paper to cut this is going to waste lots of paper. So we are going to be using our fabric instead. Okay, so we're going to cut 50 inches. After cutting that 50 inches, we're going to remove 10 inches from that 50 inches, which is going to leave us with 40 inches that we'll need. Then that 10 inches, we're going to use it to trace our net. Okay, then after that we are going to cut a straight fabric that we are going to use for our gather. All right, so having said that, we are going to go ahead and start cutting. You already know that the best practice when cutting a full fillet is to cut on the floor if your table is not big enough or wide enough. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using my table, but I just hope you understand this better. Okay, so the first thing you are going to do is to fold your fabric in a fillet form like this. We already know that this is how we fold our fabric. And for your information, there's no how you are going to be cutting this style. There's no how you're going to make this style. That is how you're going to cut this style without having to join it. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to work on the top. We are going to get the shoulder. Then from the shoulder, we'll take the measurement down to the 50 inches we are going to be using to cut all out this part. All right, so here now, this is where the shoulder is going to be. The first thing I'm going to do is to take my measurement. Okay, so I'm going to measure our shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 7 inches, okay, which is 7 inches. From here to here is 7 inches. Then I'm going to come down and make it 8 inches. All right, so this is what we have here. So we have 8 inches here, okay, from here to the fold. All right, so for that, I'm going to take my shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches, and I'm going to add 0.5 inches to it, making it 7.5 inches. Okay, so having gotten this, I'm going to go down by 1 inch on that part, which is going to be our armhole, our shoulder slant. From the midpoint here, I'm going to take my neck depth, which I'm going to be using 6 inches or 5.5, depending on how deep you want the neck to be. Okay, the neck width, I'm going to be using 4 inches. Then I'm just going to connect like so. All right, so now after connecting, I'm just going to connect the shoulder, and then the armhole, I'm going to be using 9 inches for the armhole. Okay, so on this part, I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4. Okay, the bust I'm working with here is 42 inches. Divided by 4 is going to give us 10.5. Okay, after dividing my bust measurement, I'm going to add 1 inch for the stitching allowance. Now I'm going to connect my armhole. All right, so now that I've gotten my armhole, all I have to do now is to take whatever I have here straight down. Okay, if you want it to be very, very big, you can just connect and take it down this way. Okay, but I don't want mine to be too big, so I'm just going to connect like so till I get to the down part. All right, so having gotten this, now we have gotten the shoulder. What I'm going to do now is to take my measurement from here. This is the shoulder line, so I'm going to take my measurement from here down to 50 inches. All right, so when I've gotten to 50 inches, I'm going to add 1 inch to it to make it 51 inches. All right, I'm going to do the exact same thing till I get all my measurements from the shoulder down to 51 inches. All right, so this is what we have. This is what we are going to go ahead now and cut out. So this is what we have after we are done cutting. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the exact same thing for the back. But if you are going to be adding a zipper to your own bag, then you are supposed to add a 1 inch or more zipper allowance. So I'm going to be adding a button for mine. So I'm going to cut this exact same thing for the back. Okay, remember we are still going to be joining this part, but we are going to join it after we have cut out the net. Okay, I hope you understand this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this exact same thing for the back. Remember to trim the excess allowance if you don't want it to be too full. Just shape it to the desired measurement that you want. Okay, but make sure that what you have here is your bust measurement. All right, so I'm going to quickly go ahead and cut out the back. So here, this is the back. I'm through cutting with the back, and what I want to do now is to cut an opening for the button. Okay, so it depends on how deep you want your button to be. Depends on how deep you want your button to be. Just go ahead and create a small opening like this. Okay, so that you're just going to put a buttonhole, turn everything, and then put a buttonhole for your button. Okay, I'm also going to show you how to create a buttonhole. So what I'm just going to do is just cut out something really tiny here, depending on how deep you want your button to be. Then open it up like this. Okay, now this is what our back is going to look like. We are going to place button and hold it together. Okay, I'm not going to be putting a zipper in this. So if you're going to be putting a zipper in yours, make sure you add a zipper allowance. All right, so having gotten this, we are just going to go ahead and cut out for the net. So to cut out the net part, I aligned the front and the back. Okay, make sure they are equal. This is the two of them, the front and the back. I align them together, and then I'm going to, from the down part, take 10 inches upwards. All right, remember what we said, we are going to be using it to cut out our net. Okay, so take 10 inches upwards from the down part up to 10 inches. Okay, so after measuring it, go ahead and connect it, and then I'm going to cut it out. So whatever I'm cutting out from here is what I'm going to be using to cut on our net. Okay, and then the little space we have here, we are going to join it to make up for the length of the gown. To join this part, best practice is to make sure that since we have a border here, the joining you're going to use is to use a border. So you do not have to go through the hassle of weaving it. Okay, especially when you're not turning with a lining. Now you're going to make sure that you have the faces aligned. Now this is the wrong part of our fabric, right? This is the wrong part. So you're going to make sure that whatever you're joining aligned, wrong part to wrong part, right part to right part. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pin this together, making sure you leave at least 0.5 inches for the joining. Okay, I'm going to pin this together like this. Okay, then I'm going to flip this to the other side so I can trace this out. All right, so just go ahead and trace out, and then do the exact same thing for the other side we are going to be joining as well. So the last thing we are going to be doing for this upper part before we go over to cutting the net is to cut out the facing, unless of course you are going to be using a lining to turn yours. But because I'm not going to be using a lining to turn mine, I'm going to cut out the facing, and the facing must cover this opening we have at the back and also go a little bit down on the front. Okay, and this facing, I'm going to also be using it to turn the armhole. I'm going to be showing you how to use one facing to turn both the neckline and the armhole, and everything is going to be very, very neat. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out facing for this. So now that we are done cutting the fabric, we are going to go ahead to cut the net. Okay, so this is my net. I'm going to fold it into two. Now it's folded into four. I'm going to cut both the front and the back all at once. Okay, so if you want to cut it differently, you can as well fold into two. Okay, but it's still going to be the same thing. Now I have my net folded into four here. I have my net folded into four here. And what I'm going to go ahead to do is to bring in that part that we cut out. Okay, this is the part that we cut out from our main fabric. Okay, so we are just going to bring it in and place it like this on our net. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, make sure that these parts that do not have an opening also do not have an opening on the net. Okay, so place it like this, then go ahead and cut it. Because mine is folded into four, two parts do not have an opening. I'm going to have the two of them once I'm done with cutting. Okay, and I'm also going to add 1 inch to this net for the joining for the up and the down. So now we are done with cutting our net. Now, like I said, I have both the front and the back net here. Okay, this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to go ahead to do is to cut out the gather. Now for the gather, we do not have a length measurement for the length. Okay, what we actually have is measurement for the width, which is 10 inches. So for the length, make sure you cut enough, because already you know that what we have here, this is where we are going to place it, and what we have here is so wide. Okay, so just cut as many as possible, so that it's going to be enough for you to gather it on this net. So for the gather, this is what we have. This is what we have. I've cut out pieces of fabric 11 inches in wide each. All right, so I cut it with the length of our fabric. So I have 6 pieces of this. We are going to join it to be very long. Okay, yours might not be up to 6 inches, yours might be more, but just know that this is going to consume lots of fabric. That's why I say the minimum fabric you need to make this style for a small person is 6 years complete. Okay, so for somebody that is big, maybe somebody that is fat, you need to get more than 6 years to make this style. Okay, now this is what we have. I'm going to join this. We are going to join it one to get a very long fabric that we are going to gather and sew it to the net after joining it. Okay, so now that we are through with the cutting process, the first thing that we're going to go ahead to do is to start sewing. And then for the sewing, we are going to first of all turn the neckline with the facing that we cut out. So to turn with the facing, you are going to place the right side and the right side of the facing facing each other. Okay, this is the right side of the facing and this is the right side of the fabric. Now you know that this particular facing has a border, so we do not need to fold it down. But if it is for the back that do not have the border, we are going to fold it down to make it neat. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead to do now is I'm going to sew from here using 0.5 inches till I get to this part. Okay, then I'm going to skip the shoulder because you know you are going to join the shoulder to the back. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing for the neck. Okay, using 0.5 inches. Also, I'm going to go ahead and sew the armhole. Then I'm going to sew this part. Okay, I hope you understand this. And we're going to do the exact same thing for the back as well. Place the fabric and the facing, right side facing each other, then sew with 0.5 inches. So for this back, we are going to be folding these down parts just to have a neat finishing. Okay, then also we are going to sew the the button opening here with 0.5 inches. So for the button, this is what I went ahead to prepare. This is what we are going to use as our buttonhole. Okay, so you already know we want to make this very neat. So before you turn the facing for the neck especially, you are going to sew your buttonhole like this. Okay, after getting your buttonhole, you are going to attach it like this. Okay, so this is before you start turning the neck, so that everything is going to be turned inside. Okay, so just attach it like this. I'm going to hold mine down with a pin. Okay, so just hold it down. So when you are sewing now, make sure you leave 0.5 inches for the neck. So while you are sewing now, you're going to pipe everything inside. At the end of the day, it's going to look this way. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn all the neck, then I'll show us what it looks like. So this is what we have after we are done turning everything. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to notch. All right, you are going to notch. You already know that anytime you have any curve, if you have a curve in your sewing, you are going to notch it so that it's going to relax, right? So we are going to go ahead and notch. I also attached a hemming gum. This is so that when we are pressing, it is going to be very easy for us to press and it's going to relax. Okay, so quickly go ahead and notch all the sides. Notch all the curves, both the neck and the armhole for the front and the back, and then we are going to press and we are going to turn it to the right side, and then I'm going to show you guys how to join the shoulder. So this is the front and the back after we are done notching and turning. Okay, so what we are going to do now is, this is one shoulder. I already joined this one, so I want to show us how we are able to get this neat joining here. Okay, so this is one shoulder, this is the other shoulder, right? So this is the front. You can either do this for the front or the back. Okay, so this is the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this front to the wrong side, right? I'm going to turn it to the wrong side. This is the right side of the fabric facing each other. Then I brought out the shoulder from the wrong side of the front or the back. You can do it for any side that you want. Then this one, we are going to place it inside. Okay, place it between the facing and the main fabric. Bring it out here. Can you see? Arrange it properly. Arrange it properly, and then make sure you are aligning it to this, the other one. Okay, make sure the two of them are well aligned. Okay, make sure the two of them are well aligned. Then you are going to sew with 0.5 inches. Okay, I'm going to go over this again. If you turn the wrong side, okay, but first of all, make sure that the two of them are positioned in a way that the front are aligning with each other. Okay, then what you're going to do, you can either use the front or the back. For me, I used the front. What you're going to do is you're going to pass the shoulder, the other shoulder, inside the one that you are, the one that you turned to the wrong side, which is here, right? So you're going to make sure that the both of them are well aligned. Okay, and make sure that they are equal. Then use that 0.5 inches to sew the both of them together like this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew the both of them together. Then I'll show you what we have. So here, this is what we have. So just go ahead and turn it. Okay, so after we turn it, can you see both the up and the down, they are well relaxed and neat. Okay, so what you just have to do is to go ahead and press. I'm just going to go ahead and press all the way round. So this is what we have. This is what we have after we are done. Can you see how neat this looks? All right, so moving on, I just have to go ahead and shape this using 1 inch. Shape using 1 inch. If you want yours to have a pocket, which is the best practice for a flay, add your pocket. After shaping, this is the net. Okay, I'm also going to shape the net on both sides. Just join the net on both sides because we do not want it to have any opening. Okay, we do not want it to have any opening. So I'm just going to join the net on both sides. After joining the net on both sides, I'm going to join it down. That is after shaping. Okay, you already know that after shaping this is going to become a circle. All right, go ahead and join this part that has a joining. So after shaping, go ahead and attach your net all the way around. Okay, after attaching our net, then we are going to go ahead and prepare our gather. So here we are done joining the net, and the next thing we are going to do is to attach the gather at the end of it. So here is the gather. I've also gone ahead to join the gather. Remember, after cutting it out, we say we are going to join it to be very long. So as you can see, I went ahead to join it to be very, very long. Then I went ahead to fold the down part. Okay, so go ahead to do all this. When I was done folding the down part, I went ahead to sew 2 loose stitches. Okay, you can call it gather stitch, you can call it a loose stitch. Just losing your machine to the last. So if you're using an industrial machine, the last digit should be 5. If you're using a tabletop like me, the last digit should be 4. Okay, so place your machine in the number 4, losing your machine to the last digit. Then you sew a loose stitch 2. Okay, it's often preferable to use 2 because 2 is going to make it a lot easier for you, right? So when I am done, I'm going to go ahead right now to draw the gathers. Okay, so draw the gathers, and then after drawing the gathers, attach it. Okay, after drawing the gathers, attach it to the net like this. Okay, attach it to the net. all the way around. Now, this is not supposed to be full. Okay, this time we're not making, the gather is not supposed to be too full, unless if you want yours to be. But I doubt the gather is not supposed to be too full. Okay, so just make it a very scanty gather, sew it all the way around, and then I'll come back and show us how mine looks like. So this is what it looks like after we are done joining. As you can see, the gather is very scanty, just the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so thank you guys very much. If you have watched you this part, thank you very, very much for always supporting. Thank you, I really appreciate. Please give this video a thumbs up, because when you give this video a thumbs up, the algorithm is going to push it out to more people, knowing that it's of value to people. Okay, so if you have any requests, you have any style you want us to recreate, do send it in the comment section, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Bye, and please hit the subscribe button.